true story. Maybe you know the famous story about Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer. But I'm going to tell you a true story, something that really happened. One day, a long, it was really long time ago, there were two deaf people, a man and a woman. Well, the man saw this woman and thought, is she deaf? And the woman said, me? Yes. Are you deaf? The man said, uh-huh. Hi. Hello. And so it happened that the two of them fell in love. They got married. Love you. Love you. And suddenly, a little baby was born. And he was a Coda. Well, the mother and father were wondering if their little baby was deaf or hearing. So what they did is they took him down. And first the daddy said, well, I remember when I was a baby, what my parents did, what my mom and dad did, is they would yell to see if I could hear them. So he yelled and yelled at the little baby. And I was the baby. If I was deaf, I wouldn't do anything. I'd just hear this yelling. And then my mom yelled and yelled. If it was a deaf baby, baby wouldn't react. So the husband said, okay, why don't we both try doing that with this baby? Okay? So the mom said, okay, that's a good idea. You are so very smart. I love you so much. Oh, I love you. Oh, no. We don't want to hear baby. Okay, so first the dad yelled really loud at the baby. And the baby turned and looked at him all surprised. And then the mommy said, okay, I'm going to try. She yelled at the baby. And the baby looked all shocked at her. And then the daddy yelled. And the mommy yelled. And he said, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if it is deaf or hearing. And the mommy said, I think it's just because you have bad breath. The baby looked at you because his bad breath was coming at him. So then he said, I have a good idea. I'm not going to yell. I'm going to look the other direction and I'm going to yell. And the mom said, that's a good idea. So he yelled. So both mommy and daddy looked away from the baby and they both yelled. So, and then they asked each other, so did the baby look? I don't know, I was yelling in the other direction. Weren't you looking at the baby looked at me? Oh, it was my idea. Okay, I have another idea. And they clapped really loud next to the baby. The baby turned. And then the mother clapped, and the baby turned. Well, maybe he likes music, they thought. You know the speakers that people have? They can be really huge speakers. I'll show you. So we pulled out this big old speaker. And the baby was just there sucking his thumb. And then the mama brought out another big speaker. The baby was just watching, sucking his thumb. And then the daddy said, okay, I'm going to plug it in. And they turned the volume all the way up. And he plugged it in. And the sound was coming in the baby, and said, oh, look, he's dancing. He must be hearing. Yay! Oh, he's hearing. He's a little Coda with a tag. Oh, our little Coda. So, then the baby, being a Coda kid like a lot of you, learned how to sign. And when the baby got a little bit bigger, he would like, pee, milk, poopy. He said, you changed the diaper. I'm not changing the diaper. He's your baby. And this baby Coda would watch movies. It didn't have the sound on, but just watch all the action and see everything that's happening on the TV. And they would watch a movie with the speaking on. They didn't, hearing stuff is boring. So they just watched the action on the TV. And the mama looked at the baby and said, I love you. And the baby signed back, I love you, Mommy. Oh, I'm so proud of my baby. Coda, just like all of you, grew up a little more and a little more. And finally, it was time to go to school. And the mama and daddy walked their little baby to school, and the baby Coda said, okay. So the Coda's going to go to school. It's a hearing school, you know. And so he started signing, hi, my name is Coda. And the hearing kids looked at this kid waving his hand around and started moving their mouths all over the place. And they had no idea what this guy was doing, moving his hands. And so he kept signing, and then the baby looked to his mommy and daddy and said, hey, they're rude. And mommy and daddy said, well, this is the hearing world now. You have to go there. You have to learn. And they encouraged him to go, and Coda looked at his mom and dad and said, okay, and walked forward. And then the mom and dad watched their baby go, and they were very sad. They were crying because they knew now that the Coda kid was going to go into the hearing world and wasn't going to be as close to the deaf world anymore. So the Coda kid went in and started signing, and then started signing less and less until he was just talking all the time. He didn't sign at all. So when the Coda kid would come home, he would watch TV, but he would have the sound on. And he'd watch movies that had just lots and lots of talking. And his mom and dad watched and went, yep, he's in the hearing world now. He's one of them. Well, it just so happened, way up in the North Pole, Santa Claus started to talk, but then he realized that he couldn't talk. There was something wrong with his voice. He couldn't speak. But luckily, Santa Claus, he knew sign language. You know why? He had a deaf sister, Barbara. There she is, yay, Barbara! So Santa Claus could sign. Hey, so the elves, you know the elves? The elves didn't know how to sign. I don't know what you're doing, Santa. And Santa Claus would say, come sign, come help me, I have to tell you. And the elves would look at him and say, I don't know what you're doing. What are you doing? I don't know. And Santa thought, I really need some help. Who's going to help me? A Coda kid. A Coda kid can help me. So with a wink, he came to our world, to where the Coda kid was, who happened to be playing with some hearing friends. And he was wiping booger on some other kid's shirt. When suddenly he was magically transformed to be next to Santa, and away from his friends. And the hearing kid went, where'd that booger come from? Anyway, so Santa turned to the Coda kid and said, I need your help, signing help. And the Coda looked at Santa and tried to ignore him, pretend he was hearing. And the hearing kid was saying, well, what is Santa saying? And the Coda wouldn't sign. He was too embarrassed. My hearing friends are going to tease me. So he started acting all cool and said, what? And Santa said, I need your help. You can understand me. I'm so proud that you know 2 languages. You're so lucky because you can speak and you can sign. You need to have both. You need to do both. And the Coda looked at Santa. And the hearing kid was saying, hey, what do you say? I want to learn sign language. Ooh, that's cool. I want to learn how to sign. And the Coda kid said, you think that's cool? So then he said, okay, fine, I'll help you. And Santa said, great, thank you. So his hearing friends were also looking and said, teach us sign language. And he said, well, here's I love you. And the hearing kids all said, I love you. And so back at the mom and dad's house, they felt this little I love you sign come out. And they said, our Coda sign, he's accepted us. And he looked out the window, and up in the sky, there was the sleigh and the reindeer flying across the sky. And there was Santa Claus. And sitting next to him was their Coda kid. Love you, Mom and Dad. And the parents signed back, we love you too. Love.